All right guys, it's always good to have as many tricks up your sleeve as you can when it comes to all types of fishing. But for me, one of the reasons I was successful in Australia and in the US is the different retrieves. Although I have a million different baits, lures, everything like that, that's a big deal. But the cadence of your retrieve is a lot of it. So it doesn't matter sometimes what color, what bait you've got. The speed, the movement of that bait is the real key. And I'm gonna just show you basically 4 or 5 of my most popular retrieves that work here in Australia, and it's gonna make a big difference for you. So I've got a little plastic on, I'm gonna make a big long cast, and I'm gonna show you all of those retrieves in this cast right here. Spin tackle, always pretty unbeatable on the bass. Been testing the new Vanford. I'm gonna let this sink to the bottom. So straight up, the #1 technique for a spoon, a blade, a plastic, a spinnerbait, a chatterbait is gonna be a slow roll. And one of the biggest keys is when you get it off the bottom, give it a little twitch. Get that lure into gear first. Don't just start with the crawl. Give it a little twitch and then go into a dead slow roll. That's gonna be your #1 technique, crawling it along, keeping it near the bottom. When it gets too far off the bottom, open your bail, let it back to the bottom. Your second, and this sort of is the contrast to both, is burning. And so this is a reaction bite. When those fish don't want to eat, they're super hard, but they're sitting there, you can get them to react through speed. So what I'm going to do, get that to the bottom, I'm going to rip it off the bottom, and I'm going to start burning it fast as I can. Like a solid pace. You'll be surprised how fast I can catch that. But I don't want to bring it up too much because that bait's going to end up above them. So 10 winds, I'm going to open that bail, back to the bottom, and I'm going to go straight into a burn again. I'm going to open that bail. Great, great retrieve for getting fish to react. The second one is in between, and that's when I add a twitch. So this has been one of my biggest things that I've done for a long time. I'm going to get that bait out there, hit the bottom. I'm going to go into an easy retrieve, but then I'm going to add these short, sharp twitches. But I'm not going to stop winding. A lot of people stop winding, then twitch. Wind, stop winding, then twitch. You want to keep the consistency up and add that twitch. Keep the consistency, add that twitch. And so if a fish comes in, starts tracking that bait, and that bait moves, that's the reaction that you're going to get, and they're going to chase it down and bite it. I get so many bites right after that twitch, and that's been the #1 technique that's worked while we've been here. The next one is hopping. On the bottom, there's several different hops. It's a big drawer, pause at the top, and then I'm actually going to hold that bait and hold the weight of the line all the way back to the bottom. Pick that line up, big long hop, hold the weight of that bait, let it fall, and you're going to get bites on the drop when you do this. On the fall, most of the time, that's when the bite's going to happen. So that's your big hops, and then your second stage is small hops, and this is for blades, this is for even spoons, soft plastics, and it's going to be just little tiny hop back to the bottom, always staying in contact. Small hop, back to the bottom. Rod tip high, small hop, back to the bottom. And this is the best one for staying in contact with the bottom all the time. You always want to have contact with the bottom. Wind up, hop. You can add a little wind in there if you want to get faster, and you can use slow or you can use fast, and you can vary that hopping technique. So there you go guys, that's some of my best retrieves, cadences when it comes to catching Australian bass, yellow belly, all our natives. Mix it up. That's the biggest tip I can give you. No matter what bait you got on, mix up the retrieve. When you find what they like, repeat it then until they stop biting, and you're gonna have a lot more success.